Hi there, KOIN 6 Chief Meteorologist Josh Cozart here with your latest weather update. We've got a lot of weather pattern changes heading our direction as spring ends and we enter into the brand new season of summer, which officially occurs right here in Portland just around 7:30 or so on Friday evening. So we've got a lot to unpack here, especially as we are talking about this really kind of big weather pattern change. We got a little bit of a taste of it today with the early morning cloud coverage. That's exactly what you're seeing with the image that is live out over downtown Portland on this Wednesday evening. A few clouds still lingering, but really not amounting to very much precipitation at all as we quickly broke down that cloud coverage and we got to enjoy just a little bit more of that sunshine. But we are talking about weather whiplash, going from summer-like heat that we have already felt for the end of spring to a relatively cool, rainy, and even for some, potentially snowy start to the brand new season of summer. So definitely a lot to unpack here, I guess I should say, across the Pacific Northwest. Right now, beautiful live conditions seen across our area. That's where we are picking up on the plentiful sunshine, and Mount Hood itself eclipsed, at least out towards the Portland airport, thanks to our brand new Fairfield by Marriott Portland airport camera. And we are seeing some of those clouds really starting to break down out along the shoreline. Beautiful evening out towards Lincoln City with nothing but sunshine, likely going to be making for a spectacular sunset ahead. And even within the 7 o'clock hour, that's where our temperatures have managed to fall back into the upper 60s, low 70s for many of us up and down the I-5 corridor. So really a quite comfortable Wednesday night for us, even holding on to those low 60s with the sunshine out along the shoreline, but it's out east of the Cascades where our afternoon highs managed to warm up just a little bit more for us, and that really has helped to keep our wildfire potential relatively high. But boy, we have been lacking in the rain department here in the Portland, Vancouver metro area now 2 weeks since we have seen any measurable rainfall. It was back on June 4th where we picked up on just a little bit more than 1/10 of an inch, and June's rain deficit growing to more than an inch. But some of us were able to pick up on just a few scattered showers early this morning. We're talking about Tillamook, a couple of 1/100ths of an inch to more than 1/10 of an inch out towards Astoria. Kelso, Longview, that area really picking up at just a couple of raindrops to a couple of 1/100ths of an inch. And maybe you were lucky enough here through the Willamette Valley to maybe see a light drizzle this morning. But for the most part, a lot of goose eggs here for the I-5 corridor. The Willamette Valley staying dry since midnight, and will likely track that all the way into the evening hours as well. Satellite and radar definitely picking up on that cloud coverage over the past several hours, diminishing. But don't let that fool you. We do still hold on to a potential for a major weather pattern shakeup, which will hopefully peel back eventually some of these colors here with our drought situation. So all of the yellow, that's where it is abnormally dry. Technically not in a drought scenario, but much of the Willamette Valley, so that includes places like Roseburg, Eugene, Salem, Portland, Vancouver, all seeing abnormally dry, but also moderate drought conditions. And that goes just the same for the Blue Mountains to the south and east of the Pendleton area, out towards the northeast corner of our state. So we would really like to keep these locations locked in or completely removed from our area. But the latest drought situation monitor, it will be updated tomorrow, and it will reflect this latest week of rain-free skies for us here. So if anything, we might see worsening conditions. We might see stable conditions. You got to keep in mind that June typically starting to dry things out for us here. So although we hold on to a nearly inch of a rain deficit, we could potentially stabilize this drought situation right now, which would be best case scenario, and then maybe seeing improvements when the rain arrives starting Friday, takes us into Saturday, and eventually into Sunday as well. But let's talk about that fire potential right now. We have really kind of seen that these fire dials have been turned up as of late, primarily east of the Cascades because of all of those downsloping winds. We've fallen back to the minimal to moderate level. Burns still at about a 5 this evening. But as we work our way through the overnight into the start of the day tomorrow, we see big improvements tomorrow. We continue to see those improvements, at least for the I-84 location. That's where we start to turn those dials back to about a level 4 or so. So that puts us in the moderate range or so. Down towards the southeast, we do see a few spots starting to spike back up to a 7. That's getting close to that extreme category, so we want to be extremely cautious about that. All as one storm system exits, we now prepare for our next one. And this is going to be that big weather pattern shakeup for us. We get this low pressure system to slide its way back into the Pacific Northwest. Not only is it going to be bringing back some rain potential, but almost spring-like temperatures. We're expecting to see those highs into the 60s. Yes, daytime highs in the 60s for the first full day of summer. It starts later on the day Friday, where we enter into that brand new season. But Saturday, that's our first full day, and it's likely going to be the coolest day of the week so far. And that leaves behind this trough of cooler air over much of the Pacific Northwest. So if you are a fan of the summer-like heat, the good news is that will return by the time we work our way eventually into next week. But the cool down, that's really going to be helping out those fire crews battling multiple blazes across our area. I'm going to go ahead and take this full just to give you a better idea of exactly where all of these wet weather potentials are coming from. We are expected to really hold on to those dry skies tonight, but some clearing across our area. Then we start to pick up on a mix of sun and clouds for us tomorrow. That will eventually give way to a few early morning scattered showers across the I-5 corridor along the coast as well. But what's this? A little bit of pink and blue over the Cascades? Well, that's where the chance for a snowflake or two is a very real possibility. And some of those yellows, oranges, and reds, a good indication of where we could potentially see some thunderstorm activity. But this, of course, all comes as fires continue to burn across our area. Not necessarily a scenario that we would like to see, although we did remove that Wolf Hollow, a fire that was burning just to the south of the Pendleton area. Yesterday, we were talking about that on our KOIN 6 newscasts during the earlier evenings, but fire crews were able to get the upper hand. The largest of the fires, still the Ferry Fire, the Rowena Fire impacting the Dalles, and the Alder Springs Fire burning in central Oregon just to the north of Bend. So this cool down, the wet weather return, that is all going to be beneficial for us as we move our way through the next couple of days and hopefully into next week as well. All as that onshore flow right now is helping to create those downsloping winds east of the Cascades. So that's why we are seeing the Dalles picking up on those 17-mile-per-hour winds right now. Yakima, Bend, just about the same. Those warm up, they speed up, and they dry out. That really helps to fuel those fires that are burning, push them in new directions, but also dry everything out. So although the onshore flow is great for us here in the valley, it's less than ideal on the other side of the mountains. But let's go ahead and get back to that forecast as far as the rain goes. The potential for some thunderstorms, very slim, very isolated in nature, but nonetheless still potential for the first day of summer on Friday. Maybe heavy downpours, gusty winds, small hail, lightning, thunder, all a possibility. And all of this falls under the category of non-severe. So if you've been watching the news and you've heard about the severe thunderstorms out towards the Mississippi River Valley, out towards the Great Lakes area today, that's not going to be the scenario. If anything, these are going to be very isolated in nature, and we will take that chance as the return of wet weather once again returns. Just look at some of our rain gauges. This is from Friday to Saturday, where we could potentially near about a half inch to 3/4 of an inch. That would be best case scenario, and even some of that moisture finding its way to the east side of the Cascades as well. Very beneficial as that snow elevation level for the first official day of summer, well, it falls back to about 4,500 feet to 5,000 feet. So keep in mind those mountain passes are not going to be seeing snow accumulate, but you could pick up on maybe a wet, sloppy snowflake on your windshield if you are heading over the mountains come, say, Friday night and a Saturday. That's a very real potential. Now, for the highest of the peaks, and even Timberline Lodge may be seeing a light dusting that melts within about an hour or so after it falls. So early Saturday morning before sunrise, that's probably going to be your best opportunity to see any of this summer snow. Once again, returning to the Oregon high terrain. Just a bit of a picture of exactly where we expect to see that. It's right along the I-5, or I should say the Cascades, just to the east of the I-5 corridor. So Mount Hood, again, maybe anywhere from about a trace all the way up to maybe 2 inches out towards the Three Sisters, but really kind of lackluster for us in the grand scheme of things. And you can see just below me that Mount Hood has melted a lot of its snow, which is typical for June. entering into July, the summer months, these are the sights that we expect to see. So kind of exciting to see the return of some snow. It's not that it has never happened before. We've seen accumulative snow up in elevation every single day of the month or I should say every single month of the year, but still just kind of a fun little token of the odd weather that we're expecting to see, especially as we work our way into the first day of summer. All right, 49 degrees. That's where we expect to fall to here in the city tonight. Overall, we do expect clearing skies to continue. Winds out of the northwest at about 5 to 10. All right, here's the breakdown for tomorrow. Out along the coastline, 50s and 60s for us. We'll see mostly cloudy skies for the most part. The I-5 corridor into the low to mid 70s for us, and we will get to enjoy that sun-cloud mix, very similar to what we've seen this afternoon and evening. That will carry over. As far as the eastern sections of our state, still kind of summer-like. That fire threat still kind of on the edge, so we need to use extreme caution. And up in elevation, that's where we get back up into the mid-50s for government camps, so still melting temperatures with the mix of the sun and the clouds. All right, here is a look at your 7-day forecast in full. That's where we anticipate a lot of this to really bring us some very low lows and some very high highs. 62 degrees for the first day of summer. Juneteenth, of course, on Thursday with a high of 74. But look at Saturday's temperatures, bottoming out at 60 degrees. A few raindrops, if not even some soaking rains by the afternoon and evening hours. And then as that low starts to peel its way out of our area, maybe a scattered thunderstorm or two is a potential. But for those summer lovers, the good news is we do anticipate the return of the summer sun, the summer heat, with it peaking right around Tuesday with a high of about 85 degrees. So we will go ahead and take that as it comes our direction as this weather pattern shakeup really starts to get underway. That's going to do it for this special edition of KOIN Now. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll, of course, have the latest updates for you on KOIN.com always. And also our next broadcast is going to be the 10 on Portland CW. And also tune in to KOIN 6 News at 11 o'clock tonight. We'll see you then.